I'm here. I'm live. A lot of patience, a lot of work. Hello. I'm here. And I'm very happy. It was very stressful this weekend. I'm trying to organize this video, this channel, and I'm happy to be here. It's good. It's a good thing. So I'm very excited. They say when there's a will, there's a way. And I believe that. I always believed that my whole through my life, growing up with the unbelievers, the haters, people that are jealous, envious. But I just want to say that I'm real. I came to America at the age 12 and a half, and I went to live in Red Oak section of Brooklyn. Didn't know how to speak English. I didn't know nobody. I didn't have no uncles in the mafia. I didn't have no blood life in the mafia. The only thing I had was my father, which I love very much. And I grew up with him in the town. Carini, always follow him. And all the kids, my mother and father had 10 kids, but I was the one that I was chosen to follow his footsteps. And that's why he took us to America, me and my little brother. My little brother passed away, so I was the only one left, so he gave me a lot of attention to me. And when we came to America, I just knew the kind of man he was from back in Sicily, Carini. I always walked with him in the piazza. People always respect him, always took the hat off to salute him. It was amazing to see things like that as a young boy. Everywhere he went, he would give a lot of respect. It was a lot of recognition. I remember him being very close to the head priest in the town of Carini, because they used to do the San Gennaro feast, which they still do that in Queens, in our beach. So it was an idol for me. And when we came to America, he had a deal with the wannabe mafiosi, which they were connected with the when we were trying to open up the pizzeria, on Myrtle Avenue in 1969. We had a problem that didn't want us to open the pizzeria because there was a pizzeria there. Anyway, the stories is on the books. So when I got out of this life to come to Florida and open up a Jack Pizzeria, as years go by, I wanted to tell my story. So most of it because to show what kind of man my father was. And I follow my father's footsteps to be a good man, respectful, don't fear nobody. You respect me, I respect you. So all the years I went by in my lifetime, I just want to recap because we're going to get people coming in, and they got to know who I am, what I am about. I am a Sicilian guy that grew up were mobsters, gangsters, real violent guys. You know, the guys I met that was close to, was a Sonny Black, Napolitano, his crew in Greenpoint, in Brooklyn, Grand Avenue. If anybody knows the area, then I grew up with Fritzi Giovanelli's crew. They were gangsters. They were big shots. As a boy, as a young guy, but I made my own way with kids, with Irish kids, German kids. For what I grew up, in Red Oak section of Brooklyn, seeing the guy taking numbers, uh, then growing up, Ridgewood with Fritzi Giovanelli. I see the bookmaking business. So I relate that all to the Irish kids and the German on Myrtle Avenue. So anyway, going back to the later years, all the life we went through, I wanted to dedicate the story to my father because he was a man of principle, a man of respect. And that's when I wrote this book. And this is my father. His name was Antonino Leno Amato. That was his nickname, Leno. Leno meant strong, like a tree, strong. And that's who I dedicated this book to, was my father, because I loved him very much. And he brought me to America to start a new life, the American dream, not to be involved with mafia. See over here in Italian, if you see mafia, all right, to stay away from the Sicilian mafia and the American mafia. That's what he always taught me, and and he told me that he will kill me if I ever get involved and take an oath with these people because they're no good. Men of respect, men of honor, is a man that believes in principle and help people, not hurt people. And that was my belief. And I grew up with it. He brainwashed me to believe that. So then I turned it, I did know really family about being in the family mafia, because when we came to America, we left everything behind in Carini. So in America, we were going to go legit. We were going to open a pizzeria, which we did. I didn't go to school, but I learned how to cook. So in reality, we were going to open up a chain of pizzerias because at that time it was a new thing in America, especially for Sicilian immigrants. Didn't know anything else is to make pizza. It was not that hard to make pizza, cook fish, and all that. Make pastas. It was not hard, and didn't take much to open up a pizzeria. There was a lot of regulation where they are today, and there was not too much competition. You had to just be willing to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and sacrifice and be your own man. And that's what we did. That's what my father wanted. But me, as a young kid, being around and seeing these guys with suits, like everybody else with their stories, fancy cars, jewelry, everybody, wanted to be in it because it was a glamour, being respected. And so I wanted, likewise, doing the same shit. But I wanted to do my thing. And I was doing it because we were in the pizza business. The Irish kids used to come in, and I made friends with them. The German kids came because that was their town. I got into fights with them at first because I was a greaseball. So I had to, make a nose that I'm not weak. I'm not going to stand for abuse. So I got into fights, and then they see, like my father always used to say, even if you lose the fight, they will respect you. So, and I believe that. Never give up, never surrender. And that was my mentality. And still today it is. That's why I got my channel here, trying to do. And I got guys, they don't know anything. And try to create something. Um, Now, I am an original Sicilian Cosa Nostra, a man of respect. That's the way I was taught. So if I want to compare myself, in the life, which I never took the oath because I was forbidden to do that, I would compare myself to Marco Francese. I would compare myself to Sema the Bull. Now, Sammy the Bull and Marco Francese are two different characters. Marco Francese was groomed by Sonny Francese to put him through college. Okay, they were Napolitans. They're not Sicilian. Put him through college, get education, because Sonny was wild. He was a gangster. So he wanted something better for his Michael, Sonny Francis. So Sonny Francis became what he became because his father, who he was. Now, you go to Semi the Bull, I don't know, I didn't hang out with either of them, but I knew about both of them because I was very close to Tony Francese, which was related to Michael Francese. I was close to John Gotti, in the 80s. Play poker. When you play poker, you talk. The fucking guy did this, the fucking guy did that. There's always a discussion. That's why the clubs were always not good, you know, because you gotta watch. There's people that like to talk, blabber mouth, and there's a lot of people in this podcast and things going on. They talk a lot of things, but they never grew up really in the life the way it's supposed to be. So that's why a lot of them turned and became informers. They became rats. And rats come from the sewer. Animal people don't come from the sewer, or rabbits, different animals. They don't come from the sewer, but the rats do. They belong in the sewer, and there's a lot of rats around that if you don't destroy, they take over human beings. So that's what's going on now. Everything is not the way it used to be. Everything is gone. So that's why I decide that to write book. the way the life was, for a Sicilian guy like me. There's not many Sicilian guys on YouTube channels, try to talk and tell their stories. I'm the only guy, I believe. And I'm not talking bad against anybody. I'm just trying to make my points. I want to get my story across, how I grew up and the way it was. You go on, you keep your mouth shut, you close one ear, you close the other ear, to not seeing anything, not hearing anything, and that's the way we're supposed to be. And keep your mouth shut. Now, if you want to do things, do it yourself. Don't wait for somebody else to do it for you. And then you're trying to be a big shot, big guy. And that's why you end up that you recruit these people and they're not from the life Cosa Nostra. We're talking about with the real tradition, the way it once was, like the way Joe Bonanno grew up, the way Carlo Gambino grew up, Magadino. I can think of a lot of the guys, and they kept their mouth shut. Either they were from Palermo, Castellammare, Carini, Montelebre, Monreale, Cinese, Torretta. We believe in that thing. It was the family, that you bound to protect your town. So that's the way I was raised. So when I was in Glendale and see my father in action to open up this pizzeria because they were trying to stop him, stop us. I mean, me, my brothers, uh, my father reacted and he was willing to go to war with these American gangsters. And once they find out who my father was, that we have friends in Knickerbocker, you have friends in Red Hook, and Bensonhurst, paisan from the old country, that knew him, that backed off. But after my father made his point that you do harm to me, I will do harm to you. I put you in the fucking oven, to the person that sent these people over because he was related to the Gambino. So all this is in the story. This was the book, like I told you, the Italian book, and then I wrote it in English, and I was trying to put pictures of my father, my brothers, and everything. I messed up the book because I was trying to get that book, Fathers Believe, and try to put in pictures myself, because I didn't have nobody, no guidance. But when I first published the book, which is still on Amazon, they see the original book is different. A Fathers Believe, and the deal that was the publishers took my money, they published the book, they did the advertise, they promote everything. They even made a trailer. It's in the YouTube from Ex Libre, A Fathers Believe. You could go on and see it, you know, because I tried different ways to get perception of my story, and they had the rights. I could do nothing. So that's when I turned around and I started rewriting and created the book Make My Bones Within the Mafia. It was supposed to be, but instead it's within the mafia. With the mafia. So, but that's the story. And then the story goes on where I went to, after I got shot. The story is there about my father. From one day we came to America in 1965, the way he handled everything, to the 1970s, then I start taking over at the age of 17. I felt like I was David, against Goliath. I didn't fear nothing. So I was wheeling and dealing, with the savage kids. And I wanted to own pizzerias. I wanted to be my own man. So this is when I met this girl here in 1970. See, you can see it? That's me. I was 17. And she happened to be related to Sal Vitale. Okay? And Joe Messino was our uncle through marriage. She was married to Sal Vitale's sister. So her mother was Sal Vitale's sister. Let's get that understanding how I was related to Joe Messino and Sal Vitale. It was through marriage. I was 17 and I had my own thing going. So I went out with this girl for almost 4 years. All right. I bought the lunch wagon. I got involved with that. I wasn't really involved with them. I went and do my thing. I wanted to do my thing. I wanted to have a pizzeria. I wanted to have the lunch wagon. I wanted to have the car game. I wanted to be a bookmaker. I wanted to do shit. I wanted to do everything myself. Okay? So there's a lot of people out there that's still around. Now, she got pregnant. Okay? I gave her my father's help. We got married. She got married in church. She was here 3 months pregnant, 4 months almost. Okay? Young guy. Takes talent. It doesn't just happen like that. Okay? We got married in church. We had a great reception. We went to the honeymoon, the Bahamas, Paradise Island. That's me and her. This is what I looked like when I was in my 20s. All right? I didn't look like a dickhead or somebody you could push around. All right? So this is me. Now I'm 72. But you are what you are. The tree lasts for a lot of years. It brings out branches. My mother and father were the tree, and they brought out branches. My brothers, my sisters, my nieces, nephews, they here now. We all over America. It's not just New York City. We're spread out. Bringing kids here and the way spread out. Do you understand what it is? A dream of family ties, a strength? No, you guys don't understand that because you weren't brought up that way. So I'm going to stop a minute. I got to look at something. Showbiz. It says, check this. Sal Vitale disliked Tony Green. And was jealous of Tony and Joe Massino friendship. Yeah, there was a lot of jealous from Dom Cicali. Yeah, Dom Cicali, Dom Cicali came in the late 2000. He got involved with Vinny Basciano. because he recruited him, because all these guys from the neighborhood, they want to make their names for themselves. So they build a crew like Joe Melino. Same thing in Philadelphia. He grew up with Nicky Scarfo, the families there, the guy. But Philadelphia was one family. And they were not really big thing till Atlantic City's opened up over there. Okay? So somebody from New York, because you always got fucking enemies, always. There's always a people, they your brothers, they kiss you, and then they stab you in the fucking heart. So somebody put a win on fucking Nicky Scarfo to get rid of fucking Angelo Bruno, and that's everything broke loose. But going back, Joe Melino grew up. He was a baby. Grew up in the family thing. Then his father went to prison. So Joe Melino was by himself for his friends. It was like me, what I was trying to do in Glendale. With the Irish and the German, like a group. They know how to shoot. They know how to steal. They didn't fucking fear anybody because you're Italian. So the same thing, Joe Melino end up with a bunch of guys, and they say, "Why we got to fucking deal with this foreigner, the Sicilian guy?" So Mustafa, whatever fuck his name was, a Sicilian guy. Anyway, but everybody put somebody there. My story's down. Nobody put me there. Nobody put me nowhere. I was my own guy, and I didn't want to be with anybody. I was close to the Rastelli family. Marty Rastelli, which was a brother of Rusty Rastelli. Rusty Rastelli was the boss. So if I'm going to be with anybody, aligned, I'm going to be with a boss. And that's what I did. I got close to the Rastelli, Rusty Rastelli, with Marty. I did service. I drove them places, collect money. Then he would bring out messages from his brother while he was in prison. So I became very close. And Joe Messino fucking resented that. Because, and not just him, maybe his crew, the people he was around. But I didn't see nobody else really being upset. Not even Sal. Sal wasn't upset with me. We were close. It was Joe Messino because he was a fucking third generation and he had no family roots, Italian, They say, his family came from Naples. I don't know. Could be third, fourth generation. He didn't act like one of us. So I never really, I admire him because, he was 10 years older than me. When you got a guy that is making a name for himself and he's 10 years older than you and he's getting respected by the Rastelli family, you're trying to be nice. And the Rastelli always told me, you got to be close to Joe. He's your uncle, you belong with him. And I used to tell them, I don't belong with him. I'm friends with you, and I want to stay friends with you. I wasn't telling them that Joe Messina was bad mouthing Marty Rastelli. I'm not going to do that because then I get stuck in the middle. You get squashed. So I wasn't going to tell him what I was hearing from Joe Messina. Joe Messina always was thinking about himself, the things he wanted to do. So he got close to Turi Francese, Carmen Turi Francese. It was related to Sonny Francese, you know. Marco Francese was the kid, like my age. So he got anointed by his father because they had a he had to take care of his business because in the life you got cutthroats, backstabbing, always, and they try to take over your business. So that's the comparison I'm trying to make the way I grew up and the way these guys that they had the family roots, family mafia, American mafia. I didn't have that. I grew up as a being an immigrant. We're not known any English. I didn't know anything. But today, in year 2026, my nephews, my nieces, they got children, they're all in business. They're all doing good. They're well respected. We're family. We're strong. We drive on pride and honor. And I was looked at, you know, from my brothers too, that I was the bad apple in the tree because I kept on doing things they didn't want me to do. But F, which I own my own restaurant, I became my own bookmaker, take action. And before I got back what I wanted to get back, I got involved with dealing cocaine because I had to get my money back. All the money I lost. I lost pizzerias. I lost my lunch wagon. I lost my card games. I lost everything. And I don't want. I wanted to come back, and I wanted to come back strong. And I didn't give a shit because I didn't have nothing. I had lost everything. So I wanted to get back to a position that once I was. So I did what I had to do. This is all my stories, and I got. So now I, when I got shot, which a lot of people always said, "Show me the bullets, show me the scars, show me the scars." I'm going to show it now. I'm going to get up off the chair. I'm going to show you. In 1974, all these guys that do journalism and they report and they know everything. It's very easy. I was in the newspaper when I got shot. Jack Amato. I was known as Jack Amato from a lunch wagon. In the late mid 1974 was late July. My son was going to be born in the first week of August. My wife was pregnant, and I got shot. And I'm going to show you, nice and easy. Okay, I got shot this side. See the bullet? Then I got shot this side. This is I had to have a hernia. 32 holes. They had to cut all open, take out, and stitch it all up, like they do the sausage. They hang the sausage. So after I got shot, I lost everything. And I was not functioning anymore. I was finished. So for 4 years, I was out of commission. And I went, 2 years rehab to put the surgeries back, the colostomy, and you know, it took me 2 years to get back. So where was I gonna go? I didn't want to go near these people. I was hurt. I was, I don't know what's going on. So I stood and I lived in Middle Village by Juniper Valley in Queens. And I started to get back, exercise a little bit and try to find out what I really wanted to do. I was out. I was at it, I was I didn't want no part of it. The lunch wagon. I didn't want no part of the pizzeria. I was just went through a shutdown, mentally and physically. But as time went on, trying to rehabilitate myself, you know, started working out and get back. I had to go to work. I had a baby, a wife. So I decided maybe the best thing to do, go work a construction and in Manhattan because that's where my brothers work. So to get away from everything, and I had to convince my brothers to give me the job because construction is heavy work. So excavation, special, that kind of I had a bag like on my fucking knees to get me there because I didn't want to go in the pizzeria. I wanted out of the neighborhood. I didn't want to, associate even with the Rastellis. I was useless to them then. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck. You're just a piece of meat. They don't care about you. Nobody care about when you're in that life. There's no love. There's no affection. You is you. There's a saying. You is good as the next guy. In other words, what I'm trying to say that you're not that important. You're important just for the time being, what you're doing. And if you read the whole the stories about all these gangsters, the mobsters, the best friends turning each other. So that's why my father didn't want me no part of it. No, I'm gonna take a fucking oath. Because once you take the oath, you are obligated to do any command they give you. You got to do it. So, and for the time being, this guy's a boss that you get along good with, and you could trust him. But if he gets whacked, another boss comes in and don't fucking know you, or he doesn't care about you. He's just going to tell you, you know what? Take this gun and go shoot that guy's head. On Broadway this day, this time. I want him dead there. I want to make a sample of him, and you got to fucking do it. If you don't do it, they're going to kill you. So that's the way I was taught, and that's why I never wanted to be involved. And I respect my father's wishes, and thank goodness I did, because that right now I wouldn't even be here talking to you. If I would have got close, really, and took the oath, even with the Rastellis, I would have the answer to Joe Messino because he was my uncle. Because he became capo, then he became the boss. Where would I be now? I think they were trying to put me away in 1974. So, a lot of things that he could do all the years because of my father, because the Rastellis, they supported me, and the other families, like I mentioned before, the Fritzi Giovanelli knew that I belonged to Joe Messino, the Corazzo knew I belonged to, how would it look, being that he's a capo and he became a boss in 1992 that I get hurt, because it was easy for him to do it then because my father was gone, Rusty was gone in 91, a lot of people were gone. He could have did it, and but it wouldn't look good for him because now he's a boss. If somebody touch his nephew, what is he gonna do? So he had to answer. Everybody's got to answer. It doesn't make a difference. You become so in a position you're a boss that you can do what the fuck you want. No, you got to answer to your followers, your association with people, because then they're not gonna trust you either. So that was it. So anyway, I went to work construction. I came back. The story what I did in construction was amazing to make money. It's in my book story, Make My Bones with the Mafia. And I came back, and where I came back to Myrtle Avenue. And, I opened up the car game, but with the blessing of Joe Leach, because, I always got along with the old timers. My father, to me, at the age, was old timer because 10 brothers. I was the second youngest, but we're like me and my father were like I would say 35, 38 years apart. So we, I always hang out with the older people, so I could relate to them. So, but when I came and I reached out to Joe Leach for help because I wanted to open up this car game, Cafe de Sole in Glendale. He supported me, and you know he was a, how do you say, the money man that would draw people to come and play because they could relay money if they needed money because Joe Leach was the big guy, you know, the money guy. So it brought me, and I built up with the games. And as time went on, then Anthony Corazzo came into the picture, play cards. So, he was always dressed nice. We got along. And he invited me to come to Eastern New York, to come and play Cafe Numero Uno, coffee shop. Till then, I didn't go to many coffee shop. I went for coffee shop to have a coffee, in Knickerbocker, because that was the thing. Get espresso, get a cappuccino, with the paisans, and that was it. I wasn't there because I was in and out because I was working in the pizzerias. So, 7 days a week. So I didn't really have no time for coffee shop. But once in the late 70s, 79, now I'm in the street. I got all the time in the world. I'm in, I'm associated with the car games, gambling, everything. At that time, I was still had nothing. So I was free to do whatever I want to do. So I went to this Cafe Numero Uno to check it out. And there I met Blaze Corazzo. And they were twin, Anthony and Anthony Blaze and Blaze and Anthony, the twins. So we started playing cards there. They would come to Glendale and play cards. And then Christmas came and they would have a baccarat game in the back. And you would see all these people coming from all over, Long Island, Brooklyn, Queens. So I start to see a lot of money there, you know. So now what happens, the guy who owned the Cafe de Sol, he gets a heart attack, he dies. And his wife wanted to sell the building because she wanted to get out of there. She wanted to go back to they were Calabrese. She wanted to go back home because she lost her husband. Her husband wasn't that old. So once that closed, now I'm in East New York, Cafe Numero Uno with the Corazzo brothers. So, as we're playing cards, the guys always complaining. The owners of the coffee shop, they were Napolitans. They would complain because they were making enough money. They stay up at nights, and they got wife, they got kids. So I told them, if you don't want to, I take care of you. I stay here because I wanted to, I was young. I mean, eh, so I could do it, but they would say, no, 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 no. So then I told Blaze, one day I told him, I said, these guys are complaining, they're not happy. Why don't we all open up a luncheonette? We put the card games in the back. We could do whatever we want to do. We work, I work the breakfast in the morning, and then we could do whatever we want to do. We do lunch. The place is closed. It doesn't interfere with Cafe Numero Uno, and everybody be happy. They do what they want to do. So he liked the idea. He referred that to his brother Nicky Corazzo because Blaze would not do nothing without Nicky because Nicky was the man, and Jojo. But Jojo and Nicky had different crews, but they were brothers. So they were alliance. Jojo wanted to be his own man. Nicky wanted to be his own man. So Jojo was very smart. He was making a lot of money. He was making a lot of connection. And Nicky was with Lenny Di Maria. So everybody was happy. They were very respected. Everybody liked them. I liked them. And as years went by, I got very close to them. And I liked it because I was seeing money. I was making money. You know, uh, During the summertime, firework, 4th of July, I was given a green light to do that. Everything else and everything I got from the Irish guys from the airport, I would turn it in to them. Not everything because certain things, I didn't want to give it to them because I wanted to make the money. I want to make the connection to distribute to other people because I didn't want to put all the apple in one basket. So there I was taking a chance because if I did that and I was able to find out, then I was not being fair. I'm not sharing the loot. But in the other hand, they weren't sharing anything with me either. Whatever they had was theirs. Whatever I was building, I didn't give half to Blaze. But everything Blaze had, I didn't give it to me. So I didn't care because I didn't get my feet back in the street and I had to make friends with the guys in the coffee shop and new people building up. I couldn't just depend on the Irish kids. They were from Glendale. That's it. I want to spread out. I want to do other things. So with that, this guy came over, morning to have breakfast. It was a Colombian guy, and as time went on, I spoke a little Spanish, which I still do, and the guy said to me, Coca, So Coca, I thought he wanted Coca-Cola. I didn't know what he was talking about. I said, the guy looked, and then Coca. Yo tengo Coca. ¿Te quiere Coca? So I said, non comprendo. Dígame, ¿qué te pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué tiene? And mañana, he told me, tomorrow. So, and the next day he came and gave me a wrap, which I couldn't see what it was, like a sandwich wrap, aluminum, you know, and esta coca, mírala, dale a tu amigo, ello te spiega, esta buena, this is good stuff. So he laughed. I looked it over, when everybody was gone, I looked it over and I see the white powder. So I didn't know what am I going to do with this. I don't know nobody doing that in New York City. I got to see, Studio 54 that I went there with the son of the owner of, Valletta Company, and everybody was snoring coke, everybody was dancing, great time, So I stood in my head. So now, who I knew some kids were into, partying. So I showed it to the Irish kids. The Irish kids gave them a sample. I gave some of the guys in the coffee shop. They go to disco because I figure who else going to be doing this, And they came back and go, this is good shit. This is good stuff. This is good. Can you get it? Can you get it? Can you get it? So with that, what choices do I got? I've said to myself, I'm over here in this, in this New York. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the Carrazzo brothers. So I was thinking about should I turn it on to Blaze? And then I said, nah, because, So I was debating, should I, shouldn't, because, with what was going on, with the heroin, everybody's dealing the heroin, now I want to come out with this stuff. I said, who knows what kind of shit I'm going to get hit with, So I said, you know what? I'm going to keep it to myself. So with that, not even a couple weeks later, Blaze comes over to me and goes, we got to talk. Let's go for a walk. So I thought maybe find out what I was doing. And then he turned around. He said, is Joe Messina your uncle? Joe Messina, my uncle. Is he? I said, Joe Messina is my wife's uncle. So, yes, he makes his in-law uncle. He's not my uncle, blood uncle. No, it's goes, but still your uncle. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't tell you. You know who I was close to, the Rastellis. I'm not close to him. He never wanted me, and him to do anything together. So, no, we're not close. He goes, well, he went to my brother and he claimed you, so you belong to him. Now, I already spent 2 years with him. We were making money. He was making money. I was making money. Everybody was making money. But that didn't mean shit. Because now you got Joe Messino, he's a main guy. He's got the butt. He got the butt in 1977. So, I belong to the Rastali. As a friend, they knew it was a friendship. But once a couple claims you, they don't want nothing to do with you no more, because you belong to that family, because you belong to Rusty. So that ended. And I lost the luncheonette. I lost all my connection I had there that we were part of it together. And I'm in the street again. So I said to myself, well, fuck it. You know, maybe it's for the best because now I got the goods. I got the cocaine. And I still had some of the, what do you call the book that was mine that I had built. So I'm taking that and I'm going to take the coke and I go on my own and I go do my thing. With that, now I'm still living in our beach. So I can't do too much on our beach because you have there John Gotti, you got John Messina living there, you got Tom Amuso from the Genovese, and then you got the Carrazos. They're there. So I said, I can do nothing here. So I branched out to start going to Valley Stream because friends had pizzerias there, people that own shops. So I could get close to them, and spread my wings there. And then from there, I end up going to Franklin Square. This is all Italian neighborhoods. And then from there, I spread out going further to the island, like Hicksville, because they own pizzerias there. So I became a Long Island man. From our beach, I would go out to, Long Island. So that's when I start begin, really start making money because now I'm going to the clubs, and you know, I had this friend of mine, Vito. He was a bouncer in clubs. He was a Sicilian guy. He had five other brothers. They were tough guys. They were not pushovers. They were independent too. They were not involved with anybody because the father, same thing. He didn't want the sons to be involved with anybody. So I aligned with them, and we started moving a lot of stuff in the clubs, in the nightclubs, discotheques, 231, Latique, Uncle Sam, uh, Metro 700, Focus, Channel 80. So, because everybody, they had their own connection. So I started to see making money. So then I'm saying to myself, how long this is going to last? Because you're hearing people getting, busted. And at that time, now I had three kids. It was in the early 80s. I had three sons. I had a wife. What am I going to do? So then I said, it's time to get back and get back to the restaurant business. And, this way I could go legit, get this shit out of my way because now I got the Colombians on my back that like it, that make money. You don't know. It's like a chain that the chain could break, or like a fuse that lights up and things gonna blow up, and I'm gonna end up losing everything. And after all this, I'm gonna lose the opportunity to get back in business. So I was already, a chef. I was already a boss in my own rights. Why should I lose this chance to go and open up a restaurant? And that's what I did. I opened up a Michi restaurant, and once I seen that everything was going good, I began to slow down, you know, because I had a lot to lose. So I'm gonna leave there. I gotta read some of this people make a comment. I don't know. Maybe there's some haters over here. I don't know, but I gotta read. I'm happy. I'm over here that I got the channel. I worked hard all weekend, to see if I could get on. I'm on, and all these guys that are wishing me bad for them, not for me. So I'm gonna read something because I want to get it in conversation. Okay, let's see. Check. Okay, I'm Calabrese. It's all right. I had Calabrese friends in Red Hook. Danny Calabrese. Calabrese are good people. They're not bad people. Southern Italian, they all good people. We all come from the same background. We all want to make a living. We all wanted things for the family, for the kids. So it's the people from Northern Italy that they think they're better than us. So, but people from the Southern Italy, we all have the same background, family, tradition, love, affection. Okay. Johnny Catalano, good buddy. Hi. Buonasera. Johnny Catalano. Nice photo. Your wife. Yes. Yes. She is. She's a good woman. She stood with me all these years. And she's really, loyal and grandmother, great grandma. I mean, great being a grandmother. She's a good woman. Period. Got to when I said okay. So Johnny Catalano. All right, let's move down. I don't know what is this. Frank Caputo, Jago was he Irish? Messina was Napolitan. He looked like Jack Iglesias. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Monique Mastifa. Yes, he looked like Jack Iglesias a lot. That resemble. Yes, Johnny. Maybe Puyes. I want to interview. All right. There's a lot of people here making questions. They're talking to each other too. All right. Cari Capito. Cody Copertino. Jack, at your age, how can you look yourself in the mirror? You look. I'm looking at myself right now on the screen. At my age, I'm fucking 72. I feel like I'm 40, 50 mentally. Maybe my body's not 40, 50, but my brain is still there. What what am I doing that I could look at myself in the mirror? What's your point? What are you trying to say? I'm a rat? I'm not a rat. There's a lot of rats. I'm not a rat. I wrote my story about me, my life. I'm not talking about other guys, what they're doing. So I'm just comparing a Sicilian guy from the other side with Cosa Nostra roots, what they believe, and the American. What are they? Wannabes? What are they? They Cosa Nostra? They can't even pronounce the word Cosa Nostra. What are they? Mafia? The mafia is another word that it just don't mean shit. It's just mafia. Now, mafia is used like if it was, I don't know, a name brand. Mafia is nothing. Everybody's a mafia. All right. Anyway, let's move on. The same guy, Cody Copertillo. You make you make people get angry at you by insulting the intelligent. Are you intelligent? How am I insulting your intelligent? Copertillo. Cody Copertino. I'm insulting your intelligent. You got a brain. I don't know what you're saying. You don't not talking. I don't know what you're saying. Johnny Provolone, Corey, you are a grown man talking shit from a keyboard, soft. Thank you, John Provolone. I agree. These guys, uh, I don't know, maybe Jeff Nodi friends, uh, Brad, Francesco Fedolino friends. They're coming over here just to try to say something stupid. Okay, then we got Tommy Stings. Good evening from Bellevue, New Jersey. My sister Carmela sent me your way. Very nice. Carmela, she's a good woman. Yes. Thank you for coming. And I'm trying to build. I'm David against Goliath. But like I said, how many guys on YouTube channels, Sicilian, born, grew up in America, with these wise guys, man, the top guys. About John Gotti, we're talking about Joe Messino, Trudy Francesi, Fritzi Giovanelli, Sonny Black, Napolitano. These guys were close to me. The Corazzo brothers, all right, they're still around. Those are the only good people that had a great respect for all kinds of people. They were good guys. They're still good guys. That's why they're still around. That's why they pay their dues because somebody rat them out. Rats. But they're good people. The Corazzo brothers are good people. They're the only ones really left that could stand with their head high. Okay? All the other are shit. So you want to think about Michael Francesi is better than me because he's got 10,000 more of this shit or whatever he's got? Good for you. Think about what he's got, what he did. He swore in the Senate, in front of the Senate, swore, and people just fucking forget. You got send me the bull. He killed people. He sold fucking what was this? Drugs. If they beat that, and you fucking people still follow him. So there's a lot of mental cases like this guy, what's his name, Cody Coppolino. There's a lot of assholes out there, and there will always be. So good. Follow them. Who cares? I trying to tell you the story that I grew up with all these guys that I mentioned. All right, I can know them all, and I survived. And the only person who really hurt me was Joe Messino. And And at the end, what happened to Joe Messino? I was all right. That I knew the guy was not made to be a boss from the start. I knew, okay, maybe a capo because you need capo to order the other guys, the shooters, which John Gotti was good at it too. They were not made to be bosses. That's why everything went to shit. John Gotti, he was a good capo. That's it. Not good boss. Joe Messino could have been a good capo, not a boss. Sonny Black and Napolitano could have been a capo, not a boss. Okay? So a lot of these guys were not made to be bosses. The other guys that still standing, they could have been bosses because they survived. And most likely they're going to die at home because they know they're smart enough now, they know to take a few steps back and try to enjoy the remainder of their life and enjoy the grandchildren. When you're young, we're talking about you're 20, you're 30, you're 40, even 50. It's time to back off. But most of the smart guys, they know they start backing off by the time they hit 40 because they already have families, they're already established, and how much you can you eat? Especially if you're dealing in the street, you're dealing with bad things. How long you gonna last? And then you're gonna end up again 40 years, 50 years, 30 years, and then they go and oh, I just did 30 years in prison. So what does that mean? Give you a fucking medal because you went to jail 30 years? I did 20 years. I did 15 years. I did 10 years. I did this. What does that make? When I grew up, the way I grew up is that if you get pinched, you go to jail, you'll be disgraced. Your family's disgraced. People look at you, he's a jailbird. He went to prison. He's this, he's that. So you become a disgrace. But over here on YouTube channels, they're being praised because they went to jail. And they did so many years in prison. And there was in a hole, and they were there. Being in a hole, you got no fucking choice. They put you in a hole, you got a choice to get out? No, you got to do it. Or else you fucking hang yourself. What some people try to do, kill themselves because they can't put up with it. So it's not because you go in the hole because you wanted to go in the hole. They put you there. And you got no choice to make the best of it. So being in prison, that doesn't make you tough. It doesn't make. I had a lot of guys used to come out and be in prison 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. They would come out close to me. I felt bad for them. I would try treat them good, respect, and everything. And then as time goes on, they try to take over the fucking, disrespect. They're doing this, and I would tell them, what, why are you doing this? You think you're supposed to impress me because you were in jail? You're gonna, you think I'm gonna be afraid of you? And I used to challenge them. Come on, I don't mean that. I don't mean. You understand? So they have a thing that when you come out of prison, edge, you were in prison, you were in jail. So that means now you can muscle in on other people. Yeah, maybe you're gonna do that with people that don't know better, but not with people that got original balls. Okay. So, like I said, I'm David, and I'm coming to this podcast, what do you call YouTube channel, trying to promote my books, trying to tell my stories, try to have a following, have a conversation like a normal people, who was what, which I could enjoy instead of, trashing and talking stupid, make fun, comedy. If you want to watch comedy, go watch comedy. Comedy. There's comedy shows on television, on YouTube. There's a lot of comedy. Don't come to a YouTube channel when somebody's trying to tell you a story and try to be a comedian and an asshole. Okay, so we got to call you guys. Okay, so let's scroll down here because I want to. Okay, Mr. Jack, where the hell you been? Mr. Jack, where you hell been? I know I've been out, but now I think I found the way to do this. So now I got my live channel, and I got in, and I worked the Saturday and Sunday to try to get it done, just to prove a point. So let's see what I am. I'm a Sicilian zip. Didn't go to school in America, but yet I'm an author. I wrote books from a guy that didn't go to school. So Giacomo Jack Amato is an author. Giacomo Jack Amato is a chef. I became a chef. Giacomo Jack Amato is a stand-up guy, a man of principle. Can't take that away from me. All these guys that talk shit on the computer and all that shit, they will never talk to me in person, and say shit the way they would do on this thing. I know. Guys told me I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go ahead, come. I am what I am. I don't. I'm gonna go high. I don't. If you never did anything to somebody harm, why that person would do harm to me? The only harm I'm doing right now that I'm trying to build a YouTube channel podcast to promote my books, and I'm trying to sell my books. Now, these people that have a lot to say, well, don't they write books? The way they could get a YouTube channel, they could get a ghostwriter, they could get uh, editor, they could publish books, they could do that. Why don't they do it if they have a story to say, a story that they lived a life? My books is a story about me growing up, getting shot, lost all the business because I was acquainted with these fucking gangsters, these mobsters that had no respect, no loyalty. So that's what I wrote, my book. So what am I doing wrong? I can tell my story. It's my story, something that I lived. I got to read this one. 1 minute. So we got Johnny Provolone, Cody. No, dummy. I have been calling out your both comment. Learn the difference, clown. Okay, I think he deserves that. Uh, Fútbol de amigo, ¿cómo estás? Estoy bien, amigo, estoy bien, estoy mucho bien, me quiere hablar mucho. Yo hablo con mis amigos el latino, italiano y americano. Sí, ok. Now, football. Hello, good to see you again. Carmela, how are you? Thank you. I made it, Carmela. I worked the weekend to try to get this channel working. I think I got it now. I think. For tonight, I got it. But I think I'm going to get it. I think I got it. And I'm going to come on and I'm going to communicate, talk to you, Carmela, because you know where I come from. And I think I know where you come from. Italian, with family roots, family that knows what it is growing up in the life. So I believe that you do, and you could understand where I'm coming from. So thank you, Carmela, and I'm happy to have you on my side. uh, okay, now we're going to Johnny Catalano. There she is. Buonasera, Carmenuccia. Yeah, that's good, Johnny. Yes. All right. Then we got Johnny Provolone. Chuck, have you seen Joe Messina at a Roach Coach spot? He ran in Farmingdale back in the day. He had a lot of those trucks. I fucking know Joe Messina my whole life. I almost know his life. I know Joe Messina since he was 26. Johnny Provolone. I knew Joe Messina from 1970 till he went to fucking prison 2003. We had family gathering. We were close because we were related through marriage. His wife, Savatali, was my wife, blood, and an uncle. So, of course, I knew Farmingdale. But guess what? It was Joe Savatali who spread his wings. Then Joe Messina came in Farmingdale after he came home from prison in 92, took over every fucking thing. But that was South Spot by Tali. Do you hear me, Johnny Provolone? Okay? Joe Messina didn't create that place. They were getting because they were getting shaken down. King, what was it? King Catering? That's what you're talking about, right, Johnny Provolone? King Catering? Farmingdale? Okay. All right. So we got my sister's here. Okay. Falco Ciao. Johnny Catalano. Okay. All right. So I miss anybody? Anyway, did you respond to me? Thank you, Carmela. I'm trying to have a success here. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying to get people here. And, there's a lot of people that have podcasts going on right now. Semi the Bull has it at 4:30. Then you got the other guy, uh, what's his name? Chikali. He's 5 o'clock. Then you got the other guys that do the 6 o'clock. The other everybody's spread out, but it's all right. Now I'm in there, so as long as I could come back at night at 6:15, I think I could create. I always love to create. Let me this guy, John Provolone. Jack, I would love to talk offline about all this. Yes, King's Catering had a warehouse building and played cards upstairs. Okay, yes. Okay. Now, what year was that, John Provolone? What year you play cards there? You had to be early. All right. Then we got the boss, Giacomo. Good to be here. Thank you. Welcome here. And spread the word. I'm real. How many guys like me, my age, not American gangster, mobster, mafia, is a YouTube channel? How many? I don't know. I don't see any. I only see me. And there's nobody else. And all these guys, they don't say nothing. The only ones who say things are people that they think they're somebody because they did something that was associated to working in coffee shops or people that was stealing stereos in the street in Ridgewood and them trying to make a case that they knew people, they were involved with people, and then they talk about I was in prison with this guy, with that guy. They were in prison. That doesn't say much that you're in prison with the boss's capo. What are you doing in prison? So you meet these guys and they're making you a harem boy. Should they shine, go do being a golfer. And then you say, I was associated with these guys in prison. Bosses, couples do not associate with little guys that not made, unless they use them to do errands. And that's what's happening when you go in prison. And you end up going, especially when you go to where all the rats are, that you hang out with rats. So then, yes, maybe you all got something in common. You come from the same background. But when you're in the population in prison, you stay in the corner with your crew like you're on the street and nobody enter. Because I used to go visit people in prison and because I will come back and bring messages because I was a legit guy, you know. So that's what goes on. And now they're in podcasts and they're talking about they spent time with this guy, the MBD, the CD in Brooklyn, and all this shit. Well, keep on talking, don't mean nothing. So, anyway, what we got? State. Saucy Jack 99. Hello, Giacomo. Hello, Saucy Jack 9. Uh, Joe Del. Hello. So, anyway, so we went to every rat starts a podcast. It's all the same. I can't watch any of them. Yeah, well, they talk about a lot of things that they just read from newspapers, and they talk about uh, all these guys. They talking about they had connection or they dealt with. I don't want to mention names, but they talk about other people, other wise guys from different families, and you know, and so forth. They're telling stories. Um, because how much can you really talk about what you did? We know Michael Franchise did the gas scheme. He made a lot of money, and he got rich from it. And after that, what else could he talk about? What else has he done? He became a priest, a preacher. Now he's telling mob stories. Now he's selling wine. Now he's becoming a chef. He's making meatballs, chicken parmesan. I mean, well, he's got the audience. He could do whatever he wants to do, and he's capitalizing on that. But really, what the story he had, that he grew up on his own, and create this alliance of him becoming a capo in the Colombo crime family. What did he do? He says he didn't do nothing, but he became a capo. And then he talks about it that he was equal to his father because they were both, I heard him say in a short video, that he was in the same level as his father, as a capo. I don't believe that, but people do believe it because they hear so much talking. He's a good talker. He's he's an entertainer, and he knows how to. He went to school. He's educated. He knows the words to use. He's got finesse, and then we got Sammy the Bull. Is the bull, He killed people, but really, who did he get close besides John Gotti? Who did he really get close? Who elevated, some of the bull? They say the Chico brought him around. I don't know. I don't know. So, but now he's got a big podcast, and he's talking about stories and stories who got killed and this. He talks even politics. What does he know about politics? I don't know nothing about politics. But meantime, uh, Trump, I make comments to Trump when he does stupid things. And I made comments to Obama. I made comments to Bill Biden. And I'm making comments to the other guy from Fox. Can't think of it. I can't even listen to him no more. It's at 9 o'clock on Fox. Anybody can help me out? Fox. I can't even listen to him. Who's the guy? I can't think of the name. Anyway, let me hear about Franchise. Johnny Catalano's got something to say about Franchise. Franchise refused to admit he's a rat. Claims nobody went away on Hawaii said, but his mouth hurts nobody. Frankie G and a few others. Nobody. Well, I read his statement that he made to the Senate. If you refer him, like the movie The Godfather, Michael Corleone, when he read the statement, he said, I fought for this country. I got the Medal of Honor. I got this. I got that. But he's talking about being a hero. When Michael Franchise was reading the statement, he was talking about boxing, Don King, fixing matches, boxing. Who was there, who was responsible, who was doing everything. He was laying it all out. So isn't that rotted? When you're telling everything how all the deals were done, you're making a fucking statement. I don't know. People see it, and he swore that he was going to say the truth, but nothing but the truth. And then he read the statement, all the things. Yes, I did this. Yes, I did that with this guy, with that guy. But he made a confession. He destroyed Don King and other guys that they were in the what do you call promoting boxing. So I heard him. So I don't know. That's a confection. 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 Okay. Big action. So we got met the Michael got made cause of his father, not Joe. You better believe it. He got made because his father proposed him. He won Sausage Jack and 9K. Yes. Michael Franchise was made by his father because he had to look after his father's interest. Because Sonny Franchise had nobody else. Who else he had? His other son who was messed up on drugs. So, okay, then we got the Bulgazi. Johnny was in there, something about Sunny Drive, or was that a rumor? Johnny was in there, something about Sunny. I don't know. Fish 7. Turn off the slow chat. That's for the big show with thousands of comments. Fish 7. Turn off slow shot. The big shows with thousand comments. That don't mean shit. When you start out, you always start out from the bottom. When you climb a ladder, you go step at a time, sir. Fish 7. You're a smell fish. Yes, fish 7. Go back to what is that? You 52 topic? Go back there. Stop spying. You don't belong here. You fish 7. Okay, then we got Sosie Jug. Mob Fox has this full video of Michael taken to the Senate, naming, yes, naming names who admitted to be assistant of Cosa Nostra. That's right. Yes, yes. I think that's the one I watched a little bit. He was confessing. He was spilling his beans, everything he knew. Then he went to California, and then he became a preacher. He started learning how to talk, and now he's talking about mafia, gangsters. He's telling story. He talks about the Godfather. He talks about all the mobsters, like they knew him. They didn't fucking know him. It's like me talking. I just say what I know. Those are the only people I freaking with. I don't know anybody else. I just hear them talk, and I'm just talking. Do you, Giacomo? Do you have any Napolitano relative? My wife is half Napoletana, half Sicilian. Joe della Morra. My wife is half Napoletan. My father-in-law is 100% Napoletan for La Gioventù Sacco, near Sorrento, Napoli. That's my father-in-law. And then, so I know about the Napoletans. I know the cooking is good. Everything is good. Mr. Camilla, you gotta wait a minute to comment again. Lefanella is not for small channel. Uh, Camilla responds, Fish, he does it so he is able to interact and doesn't miss anything. You're right, Camilla. This guy is, look, he's got a picture of a car. So he belongs in the trunk. So, like the fish, that fish, he chose the name Fish, 7N. That's how much brain he's got. He said, that fish stink. Okay. It's all talk with the computer. They all talk in the computer. Anyway, so he's here now. I'm all low Joe. You are big action. Talk stupid. He talks like an Indian. Fish isn't stolen. You're just joking. Okay, are you too? Carmela Fuck, there's a lot of talking on YouTube. Most are full of shit. I agree with you, Carmela. All of them. There's not one that I could say the truly man of respect that deserve respect or honor. I don't know. Mention one. Started from the top guys, not from the little guys. Top guys, YouTube guys channel right now. Who really sounds truthfully respectful, honest, and has principle that never went through jail? Okay, hey, we got some joke. What do you think of Joe Merlino saying that the media doesn't exist, the mafia doesn't exist? The mafia, I agree with him when he says the mafia doesn't exist. The mafia is a word that was built. Who's part of the mafia? The mafia. The five families of the mafia? The Colombo, the Cambino. So they won't be distinguished by families. They would be mafia. So the mafia leader the mafia, Paul Castellano, leader Carlo Gambino, the mafia, you know? So they all belong to one group, mafia. Why they have the five families? Why they have different names? Cosa Nostra. Cosa Nostra was not for the American guys to use. The Cosa Nostra was the immigrants. They came to America and they talk about the way things were in Sicily or in Naples or Calabria. You know, they use that phrase, Cosa Nostra. From the northern southern Italy, everybody used that phrase, the immigrant, because they foreigners. So they will use that word, Cosa Nostra. It's a word. It's not an organization. Mafia is not an organization. It's being used by subscribing criminal people. So, but we knew the organization, you know, that were given the names when they first were created by Loco Luciano. He didn't call it mafia. If you want to go back to those days, they call it the syndicate, organized syndicate. They made that name, and then they say we're going to build a separate family, and they start breaking down the family. And then when they start reaching out to go to different cities, LA or Chicago, right? The outfit. Why the outfit is not called Mafia? Why is the Chicago is called the outfit? Why? And supposedly they're not made members, but they are family, the outfit. So Frank put, hello, Jacko. Is this true? You rip your mother in law off his reverse mortgage pay and gambling details? My mother in law was buried in honor in Port St. Lucie, Florida. I don't know where you got that, but it's people, like I said, Joe Messino and family were my enemies. So they do anything to discredit me and they do anything to attack me. And they did that in Florida when I opened up a Michi restaurant. They send the fucking, they send the feds against me to, you know, uh, destroy my business in Florida. So that's true. So, Carmela, is organized crime. Yes, Carmela, it's organized crime, not mafia. The fish, Carmela, you say people are full of shit. Show yourself and tell us no. Why don't you show yourself, fish? Go back to 52 topic. You're trying to act like you know something. You don't know nothing. You're just a fish, that wants to swim in the water. Fish. Very good, Carmelo. This guy said is a fish. That's why he goes by the name Fish. He stinks. You get him out of the water, he stays out, he starts to smell. That's wild thing to say about Johnny Provolone Fish. Cargo Jack organization. My man. Got you. I hope Carmelo Falk. I hope Jack never gives Johnny Provolone the time of day. Yeah. All right. The offer was a different thing. As far as I know, you didn't have to be Italian to be a member. That was the real deal anyway. I don't know. I only know that the mafia, the outfit, those are names. You don't have to be Italian. How do you know they were not Italian? Jackie Soto. How do you know they were not Italian? Because they want a different name. My name is Giacomo. So when I started out in America, I changed it to Jack. Now everybody know me for 55 years, Jack. 55. Yes, that's right. 50, 17, I started using the name Jack. So, um, so I changed it to Jack. So I could have changed my name. It's a different name, less name. People do that. They change their name. That doesn't mean that they're not Italian. So what was in the outfit? Jack Cronin. Jack Cronin. He was a killer machine gun. He was Italian, but he had an Irish name. So you can't go by the name. The name can be changed. People change the names. Accardo was Italian. Giancana was Italian. The other, what was it? I can't think of the names. Anyway, to me, they don't mean nothing to me. The only thing, the offer was a different thing. Okay. The only thing what I talk about it was me growing up with certain people because there's a lot of mobsters in America. You cannot know everybody. Michael Franchese seems to know everybody now. He talks about everybody. He's into movies, talk about movies. He's into wine. He's into cooking. He's into clothes. He's into everything. And apparently Joe Merlino's doing the same shit. You know, he's into a lot of things. He's got a cheesesteak business. So good luck for him. Good. But don't call everybody a rat, you know? If they're rats, they're rats. I mean, think about making the fucking cheesecake. Think about cheesesteak. Think about selling your brand, whatever. You made it good, but you're still not out of the woods yet because somebody's watching you, the feds, the law. And Joe Merlino absolutely always mentions them and trashes them. That's not good. That's my advice to him. Be humble, respect, because you could look the other way and you step on the wrong step and you're going to fall. And it's very easy. It's not hard to fall down. I know. I fell down so many fucking times. So I know. They came after me at a Michi restaurant, and they fucking destroyed me. And they came to Florida too. They destroyed me too. So you think you're out, you're not out. They always, in good time, they come back at you. I'd say fish. Anyway, I think that's Capone Day. They had members who weren't Italian. Maybe you're right, Capone. Capone was a cowboy. He was a renegade. He did things his way. He didn't last. Uh, there was a lot of non-Italian Chicago outfit, whether they were made or not. I don't know. Well, the Chicago guys, I don't know. I guess they make their own oath. You got to do some kind of. It's like fraternity in school, in college. You join the fraternity, you got to do something. So I guess the same thing. Me and my friends, we made a oath. We made a oath between us and made a bound to be brothers, and we did it. And did we become part of the mafia? No, we became part of the Giacomato crew, and that's what we did. So just to make a bound, and it doesn't mean nothing. The bound you make, you promise, you break it. That's what they do. Nobody holds that oath. Two friends become best friends, and they do everything for each other. And then time comes where they both separate. They go different ways. So, do you ever buy Francese's wine? No. I drink California wine, and my favorite is Woolbridge, the liter and a half, and red wine. I only drink red, and I'm going to take a sip. They call me a drunk because I sip. I've been talking for almost 2 hours, and I'm going to take a sip. And it's good wine. Mellow and Pinot. It's got a good taste. It's not that expensive. So whatever brand he's using, I don't think is good as Woodbridge. Mandavi. You ever heard of Mandavi wine? Woodbridge is owned by Mandavi. And the Pinot, I drink Pinot and I drink Merlot, and those they make the two best. And I drink sometime $100 bottle of wine. It doesn't taste the fucking same. I don't know. Maybe because I'm used to with this wine. Sometimes I get a Cabernet, try to change. Same brand, but um, it tastes funny. It doesn't give me the same feeling. So okay, so feds are all over YouTube watching all this madness. Yes, they are, and they get things done in their own good ways, Carmela. Yes, they are. They could watch me. They know me. They done things to me. I don't disrespect them. I don't talk bad about them. They just doing their job, and who send them? Who rat you out? That's the problem. Brian 31, 52 topic sent me over. Good. Brian, get all the information and go over there because I'm going to come to that and make comment when they do the show, uh, maybe before the night is over. I'm going to make a comment about they just comedy. They're full of shit, all of them, and they're like a clique. A lot of these YouTube channels, they're ganging up and they're trying to attack me and making stupid comment on my videos. Does it talk is cheap, you know? Everybody could make comments, on the button, on the computer, and trying to make their point across, but they're full of shit and they don't know nothing. Okay, Johnny got the fez and the popcorn. Watching YouTube. Yeah, you're right, Johnny. Uh, Camille, you Johnny, living a lot funny how that works. Everybody's got to watch out. Have you tried franchises? Well, no. I don't. I'm not planning on trying it either. Why would I buy his fucking wine? He's not a name brand. He's using some company that he is using him, and they use him, and they use each other, and they people. I don't know. People are sick. It's one from Armenia. It's a Michael name stuck on it. Armenia. Yeah, it could be. It don't have to be from California. Why would they use him? California's got good wine. Better than Italian wine. Put it this way. I believe that. California wine, Napa Valley is great. They got the best wines, Napa Valley. I always drank that. So, Camilla, right, Johnny, I want that job. Also, nobody's buying Michael shitty wine. I don't know. It's not easy to sell it. Only some people do, I guess. But I don't think he's getting rich on that. He's getting rich with his podcast, with the YouTube channel, with promotions, and advertising. And that's where they're making money. I don't think they're making money selling shirts or selling this. Yeah, not many people gonna do that. Only some assholes. They don't know better. Uh, that's right. Johnny stomps on the grapes. Okay, Johnny Catalan, that's right. Everyone gets comment from trolls on YouTube. Don't worry about it. Okay. And then we got is Sammy the biggest rat in New York. Most not just in New York, all over USA. USA. And he knows it. And he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care. And people fucking they love hearing talk. Especially everybody now they say, oh, my son just came on board. He said, who was Johnny Shep? Johnny Shep was a great friend of Rusty Rustelli. Johnny Shep. Everybody knew him from the Five Families. It was never made. He goes back to the time of Lucky Luciano. Well respected, very classy man. That's who Johnny Shep was. So, anyway, what I was saying, Sammy the Big Rat. Sammy. He's the biggest rat in the country. I don't know in the world. I don't know because they don't know better. But I'm sure in Italy they think it's a big fucking rat. They don't like rats over there. So I don't know. Maybe Canada, Australia. Yeah, there's a lot of places that think they know Sam is a big rat, and then follows with the other guys. Why will a man? Okay, this has got. Why will a man goes not afraid to die or to go to jail? Rats. Why? Okay. What would a man who not afraid to die or to go to jail? Rats. Who says that people are not afraid of dying? Who said it? I never met somebody. Whoever says not afraid of dying is afraid. That's what I think. Everybody's afraid dying. Anybody that, if you're choking and you feel you can take a breath, you're scared. If you're drowning while you're swimming, you're afraid. Everybody's afraid dying. When you're not dying, you're not afraid because you don't feel the scaredness of dying. But when you get to an accident and and you get to come back, it's like, oh, wow, you know what I mean? You get scared shit. Or when you feel shot, like I got shot, I thought I was dying. He never got shot. All these guys they're talking about, they're not afraid to die because they never got fucking shot. But when you see your lights out, that you're there almost dead, you'll get afraid. You're afraid. And those who say they're not, they're full of shit. Okay. Valachi. Okay, Johnny Catalano. Valachi was the biggest rat until Sammy came out, and only because of John Gotti. Without John Gotti, who is Gravano? That's right. That's right. He was nothing. The Chico, all the other guys that brought him around, he was just a cowboy. He wanted to be a renegade. There was a lot of guys like that, you know. And listen, the fault is, they used to say the head, the fish of the head smells from the top. Like the coaches used to say. The I would say the coaches, the head of the fish smelled the worst. So whoever was in charge to put this guy Gramano around is the blame, and they destroy everything. Like I said before, John Gotti was not made to be a boss. John Gotti was great at being a capo. Neil Della Croce knew himself he could be a boss. That's why he wanted Paul Castellano to be a boss. Because Paul Castellano had the brain, knew how to make money, and everybody benefit. And nobody could touch Paul Castellano till Paul Castellano died. Because Johnny would dare do what he did if Della Croce was still around. So that's why he did what he had to do, because Paul Castellano was going to get rid of John Gotti. And because they were on the outs with each other. They didn't like each other. Our Sammy used to go, Carmelo, our Sammy's still alive. He's in fucking Arizona, Carmelo. He's in Arizona, living in the desert somewhere. Once in a while he pops in and goes take a photo somewhere to show that he's still around. But he's hiding. People want to get to him. But nobody cares anymore. That's why he's around. A lot of these guys are around because nobody cares. Who cares what happened? What the damage he did it to John Gotti. He did it damage to John Jr. Gotti. He did damage to the people he was with. And they don't want no part of it. They just want to live their life now. Gatto, yes, but Sammy never did any time. He was a scarred. I'm messing with. I gotta get this for a minute. I'm trying to scroll it back. Okay, Johnny. Gatto, yeah. So, are you talking to Gatto? It's a good question. Okay. Yes, it is a good question to raise. Why will a man rat if you're not afraid of dying or end up in jail forever, especially since you faced justice many times for more than the past? That's a good question. Yeah, why they did that? Yeah, if they're not afraid, they're full of shit. All right, the Giacomo got to go for now. I hope so. See you next time. We will be well. Likewise, my friend. Yes, I'm glad you came. I'm glad I was able to spend a little time here. And so, see, Jack, a dead fish rats from the head down. Yes, I think is the same as yes. That's right. And there's a lot of fucking deadhead fish here in this podcast. They're all full of shit. They're all trying to go after each other, trying to create. I'm not trying to create. I'm trying to sell my story that I grew up and I survived, never spent a day in prison. I kept my honor, my respect, and that's it. That's what it's all about. And I want to participate on these guys that they were in the crime families and then they become rats, you know? So that's what I want to talk about with you guys. And maybe we get more people coming in. So they could do whatever they want to do. They could say whatever they want to say. I'm real. I've done it. And yes, I'm afraid, but afraid up to the time that comes to face me. And those people that talk shit, they could come in my face, and then we see who's the better man. So, but those are punks that they don't know better. They're just followers, and they like to type and tell stories. So I time is coming to an end for now. I will be back tomorrow night again and 6:15 again, and I will still continue talking with my people. Be my people. Be supportive, and I appreciate it. So Camilla, Johnny, and I'm sorry if I missed some names. I miss Joe Rizzo. I don't know what happened to Joe Rizzo. Joe Rizzo. Where's Joe Rizzo? He didn't come by tonight. He's a good guy. I knew his father. He knew me. And we were close with each other. So, okay, what do we got here? 1 minute. Okay, so El Gato, you like Francesco. I like him too. He's a very good talker. He's a very sharp guy. He talks good. I'm not confined what he does. I'm just saying that people, making a lot of money now telling stories. That's it, and selling product. He could have stood said being a preacher. He say he found God and he wanted to do good for the people, but he jumped ship and he came on board with a podcast talking about mafia. So that's where I find it, a lot that I can accept that he's a true guy. You know, if you want to rehabilitate yourself and you want to do good, you work with the priesthood, now he's talking about gangsters and tell stories about shooting and shooting that he was getting set up to be killed. Uh, so I mean that's a big jump from being a priest. Now you talk about gangsters, mafia, murders. So I don't know. You guys figure it all out. I'm going to talk to my people, and that's it. So, okay, unknown trader. Yes, unknown trader. Screw the hater. There are people that have to look in the mirror at the end of the day, and like that, they see. Yes, before you go, tell us story about Johnny Russo. I don't know Johnny Russo. I don't. Buonasera a tutti. Guys, say, buonasera. How do you know that they send anyone to jail or you found him? And how about people that do? Who are you talking about? Mago 616. Magooch. How do you know he didn't send anyone to jail? You was a you was around him. Now about people, I don't know. You talking to me? You talking to somebody else? I don't know. Everybody talks different. I don't know. There's no different level of riding on the street. Understand that you're saying, but that not how we look at it on the street. God. Anyway, Carmela, Johnny, and the rest of my crew. I'll see you tomorrow night, 6:15. So we're gonna do it again. Thank you for coming, and we'll see what happens in nights to come, weeks to come. We'll see if we grow. Thank you for coming. I gotta read Johnny. Giacomo Magnoc is a friend of mine, a good man. He was talking against Francesco. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read it. Yes, what I say about Francesco, he left the life. He became a priest. He did it for fucking what, 8 years in priesthood. That he was going to help people, and now he's talking about mafia, killing, the stories, and blah blah blah. That's a big turnaround because it means money. Everything is about money, and that's it. Okay, so good night, and thank you for coming. See you tomorrow night. Okay, wait a minute, wait a minute. And the stream, your stream will stop. Yes.